Hello everyone and welcome to Plot Twists with Jessie. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, I am so happy to have you here. Today I am going to do my November wrap-up. In comparison to every other month this year, this is the worst reading month that I have had ever, and I feel like this is a continuous theme across BookTube. I feel like almost everybody's videos that I've watched, they've said that November was not a good reading month, and I don't know what it was, but I'm right there with them. Just to go over what we're going to talk about, this month I read 4 books, 3 physical books and 1 audiobook, and I read a grand total of 1,769 pages, which doesn't seem that terrible considering I only read 4 books. So without further ado, we're going to dive right into these. So the first book that I read this month is The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. This is a Snow White retelling. The main character's name is Lorelai, your Snow White-esque character, and her father was killed by her stepmother, who is now the queen of her kingdom, and her entire goal in this book is to try to get her kingdom back. She kind of pairs up with a neighboring royal who can transform into a dragon, who is the huntsman type character in this story, who is commissioned by the queen to kill Lorelai, your Snow White character. Overall, I gave this book 3 stars. It was an okay book, but for some reason I just really couldn't get into it, and I really can't pinpoint why. The story was interesting. The introduction of a dragon prince huntsman was interesting. Their relationship was fairly well written. I'm not quite sure. No validation. Just really didn't like this one. I mean, like I said, it was okay. But yeah, so 3 out of 5 stars. So I followed that book up with The Evil Queen by Gena Showalter, also a Snow White retelling, but this is through the perspective of well, I guess that's part of the story, but through the perspective of the evil queen type character. This book was exceptional. Maybe my favorite fairy tale retelling of all time. It definitely takes the genre and kind of turns it on its head. The story starts with a prophecy, but as the story goes on, you realize that, and this is kind of a spoiler, I will mark spoilers. You realize that the prophecy is not exactly the way it's written. And that's a good part of the book, is that they talk about whether characters can change, whether their part in the prophecy changes based on their actions. The interaction between Everly, who is your evil queen type character, and Roth Charmaine, aka Prince Charming, is exceptional. The book definitely has ups and downs and twists that you don't expect, and it does take a little bit to pick up to become interesting, but not, I would say, probably the first 50 pages. If you can power through that, this book is so good. Highly recommend, 5 out of 5 stars. And the last physical book that I read this month was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab has done it again. This book is honestly no words. It's amazing. It's told through the perspective of Addie LaRue, who is cursed to basically never be remembered once she leaves a room. Once she has broken your contact, you forget who she is. And as part of this, she's not allowed to say her name to anybody until one day when she meets somebody who remembers her. And of course, it's been hundreds of years since she's met anybody that remembered her, and it's a huge deal. This story is told through mostly her perspective, but also a little bit of his perspective. It takes place across multiple continents over the course of 3 decades. The characters are super interesting. Watching her navigate the time frame, specifically because she is a woman in 1700s France on her own, because nobody remembers her, is a really interesting part of the story. Overall, it was a really great book. I loved it. Definitely a 5 out of 5 star read. And the last book that I read this month was the first Artemis Fowl book. I listened to this as an audiobook. I didn't really know anything about the Artemis Fowl series going into it. I knew that I wanted to watch it because they had just made a movie on Disney Plus, and I wanted to watch that, but I wanted to read it first. I typically like to do that if I have that capability. And the story about this effectively teenage genius millionaire prodigy that is tracking down fairies to steal their money and their magic was super interesting. The writing style is really engaging for a middle grade novel, and while there were definitely slumps, the way it kind of explains the second book in the series and kind of shows you where it's going, I'm so excited to pick up this next one. From what I from what I heard, it sounds like it's going to involve Artemis Fowl attempting to like interfere with Santa Claus, kidnap Santa Claus. Not exactly sure where that's going, but it sounds perfect. Definitely going to be one of the first books that I pick up in 2021 to continue as an audiobook. I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so the last part of this, now that we've gone over all the books that I've read this month, I just wanted to give you kind of a heads up on the last couple of videos I'm planning to make through the end of the year. So I am planning to do some typical things and then some things that I think might be interesting to watch, research, etc. So I'm definitely going to do my top books of 2020. I'm planning on this being the last video I make before Christmas. I'm also planning to do a post-Christmas book haul because I already have 7 books that I've gotten this month, and I feel pretty confident that there are more coming at Christmas. There always are, so that's my plan there. I'll be doing a January TBR at the end of the month as well. That would be my last video of the month. And then in the coming weeks, I am planning to do a book discussion of covers from other countries and patterns, trends. I noticed this week on Bookstagram that the UK covers typically tend to be white, and I wanted to know if there was an overarching larger pattern across other countries. So I thought that might be interesting. And I am planning to do a book discussion for upcoming movie adaptations. I actually picked up Dune this month because I knew that I wanted to read it, and I thought I might do some research into other movie adaptations that are coming out soon that might be interesting. But I also have another slot for a video, so if you guys have anything that you'd like to see me create, talk about, etc., I'm always up for recommendations. So that's pretty much my plan. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked what you saw, as always, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. You can also find me on Instagram. I post pretty regularly there, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.